MORT D Arthur, composed by Alfred Lord Tennyson. So all the day long the noise of battle rolled among the mountains by the winter sea, until King Arthur's table, man by man, had fallen in lunacy about their lord. King Arthur then, because his wound was deep, the bold Sir Widier uplifted him. Sir Widier, the last of all his knights, and bore him to a chapel nigh the field, a broken channel with a broken cross that stood on a dark strait of barren land. On one side lay the ocean, and on one lay a great water, and the moon was full. Then spake King Arthur to Sir Bedivere, the equal of today on shoulders all, the goodliest fellowship of famous knights, whereof this world holds record such a sleep. They sleep the men I loved. I think that we shall never more at any future time delight our souls with talk of knightly deeds, walking about the gardens and the halls of Camelot as in the days that were. I perish by this people, which I made, though Merlin swore that I should come again to rule once more. But let what will be. I am so deeply smitten though the helm, the without help I cannot last till morn. Though therefore take my brand, Exclaimer, which was my pride, for thou rememberest how in those old days one summer noon an arm rose up from out of the bosom of the lake, clothed in white samite, mystic, wonderful, holding the sword, and how I rode across and took it and have worn it like a king. And wheresoever I am sung or told, in after time this also shall be known. But now delay not, take Exclaimer, and filling him far into the middle mare, was what thou sittest, and lightly bring me word. To him replied the bold Sir Bedivere, it is not meet, Sir King, to leave thee thus headless alone and smitten though the helm. A little thing may harm a wounded man, yet I thy haste will all perform at full, was what I see, and lightly bring the word. So saying, from the ruined shrine he stepped, and in the moon earthward the place of tombs, where lay the mighty bones of ancient men, old knights, and over them the sea wind sang, shrill chill with flecks of foam. He stepping down by zigzag path, and just a pointed rock came on the shining levels of the lake. There drew he forth the brand Exclaimer, and over him drawing it, and the winter moon brightening the skirts of a long cloud ran forth, and sparkled keen with frost against the hilt, for all the haft twinkled with diamond sparks. Marriots of top such lads and jacknate work of substance jewelry he gazed so long that both his eyes were dazzled as he stood this way and that, dividing the swift mind in act to throw, but at the last it seemed better to leave Excalibur concealed therein the many canoted water flags that whistled stiff and dry about the merge. So strode he back slow to the wounded king. Then spake King Arthur to Sir Vidier, host, thou performed my mission which I gave. What is it thou hast seen, or what hast heard? And answer made the bold Sir Vidier, I heard the ripple washing in the reeds, and the wild water lapping on the crag. To whom replied Arthur King, faint and pale, thou hast betrayed by thy nature and thy name, not rendering true answer as beseemed. They fealty not like a noble knight, for surer sign had forwarded either hand or wise or else a motion of the mere. This is a shameful thing for men to lie. Yet now I charge thee quickly to gain, as thou art live and dear, and do the thing I bid thee wash and lightly bring me word. Then went Sir Vidier the second time crossed the rise and paced beside the mere, counting the dewy pebbles fixed in thought. But when he saw the wonder of the hilt, how curiously and strangely charged, he smote his palms together and he carried aloud. And if indeed I cast the brand away, surely a precious thing, one worthy note, sound should thus be lost for even ever from the earth, which might have pleased the eyes of many men. What good should follow this, if this were done? What harm done undone, deep harm to disobey? Seeing obedience is the bond of rule. It well to obey then, if a king demand an act unprofitable against himself. The king is sick and unknown not what he does, what record or what relic of my lord should be to after time but empty breath and rumors of a doubt. But were this kept stored in some treasure house of mighty kings, some one might sow it at a joust of arms, saying King Arthur's sword, Excalibur, wrought by lonely maiden of the lake. 9 years he wrought it, sitting in the depths upon the hidden bases of the hills. So might some old man speak in the after time to all people, winning reverence, but now much honor and much fame were lost. So spake he, clouded with his own conceit, and hied Excalibur the sound time, and so strode back slow to the wounded king. Then spake King Arthur, breathing heavily, what is it thou hast seen, or what hast heard? And answer made the bold Sir Vidier, I hear the water lapping on the crag, and the long ripple washing in the seats. To him they replied the King Arthur, much of the worth are miserable and unkind, untrue. unkingly traitor hearted, oh, is me. Authority forgets a dying king, laid widow of the power of in his eye, that bode the will. I see thee what thou art, for thou the latest left of all my knights, in whom should meet for the precious hill, either from the lust of gold or like a girl valuing the giddy pleasure of the eyes. Yet for a man many fail in duty twice, and the third time many prosper. Get thee hence, but it thou spur to flying is clever. I will arise and slay thee with my hands. Then quickly rose Servidere and ran, and leaping down the rides and lightly plunged among the blurries beds and clutched the sword and strongly willed and threw it. The great brand made lightnings, the splendor of the moon, and flashing round and whirled in an arch, short like a streamer of the northern morn, seen where the moving isles of intersect by night with noises of the northern sea. So flashed and filled the brand is clever, but ere he dipped, the surface rose an arm, clothed in white, smith, mystic, wonderful, and caught him by the hilt and brandished him 3 times and drew him under in the mere, and lightly went the other to the king, and then spoke King Arthur, drawing thicker breath. Now see I by thine eyes that this is done. Speak out, and what is it thou hast heard or seen? And answer made the bold Servitor, Sir King, I closed thine eyelids lest the gems should blind my purpose, for I never saw nor shall see here or elsewhere till I die, not though I live 3 lives of mortal man, so great a miracle as wonder held. Then with both hands I flung him, willing him. But when I took again, behold, an arm clothed in white, saint, mystic, wonderful, that caught him by the hilt and brandished him 3 times and drew him under in the mere. And answer made him King Arthur, breathing hard, my end draws nigh. It's time that I were gone. Make bold thy shoulders to receive my weight, and bear me to the margin. Yet I fear my wound hath taken cold, and I shall die. So saying, from the pavement of he half rose slowly with pain, and reclining on his arm, and looking wistfully with wide blue eyes, as in a picture, him Servitor remorsefully regarded through his tears, and would have spoken, but he found not words. Then took with care, and kneeling on one keen over both his shoulders drew the languid hands, and rising bore him through the place of terms. But as he walked, King Arthur panted hard like one that feels a nightmare on his bed when all the house is mute. So sighed the king, muttering and murmuring at his ear, Quick, quick, I fear it is too late and shall die. But the other swiftly strode from rise to rise, clothed with his breath, and looking as he walked, larger than human, on the frozen hills, he heard the deep behind him, and a cry before his own thought drove him, and like a god, dry clasped his harness in the ice caves and barren chomps, and all to left and right the bare black cliff clanged round him as he based his feet on just of slippery crag that ranged sharp smitten with the dint of armed hills, and on a sudden low the level lake and the long glories of the winter moon. Then saw they how there hove a dusky barge, dark as funnel, scarf from stern to stern beneath them, and descending they were, or that all the decks were dense with stately from black stole black hooded like a dream by these three queens with crowns of gold, and from them rose a cry that severed to the tingling stars, and as it were one voice and agony of lamentation, like a wind that thrills all night in a wasteland there where no one comes or hath come since the making of the world. Then murmured Arthur, place me in the boards, and to the boards they came. There those three queens put forth their hands and took the king and wept. But see that rose the tallest of them all and fairest, laid his head upon her lap, and loosed the shattered casque, and chafed his hands, and called him by his name, complaining loud and dropping bitter tears against his bow, streaked with dark blood, for his face was white and colorless, and like the winter withered moon, smote by the fresh beam of the springing east, and his griefs and cuisses dashed with drops of unset and light and lustrous curls that made his forehead like a rising sun, high from the dais throne were parched with dust, are clotted into points and hanging loose, mixed with the kingly growth that fringed his lips. So like his shattered column lay the king, not like that Arthur who with lance in rest from spur to plum, who with lance in rest from spur to plum, a star of tournament, sought through the lists at a Camelot, and charged before the eye of ladies and of kings. Then loudly cried the bold servitor of my lord Arthur, whither shall I go? Where shall I hide my forehead and my eyes? For now I see the true old time ended, when every morning brought a noble hence, and every chance brought a noble night. Such times have been not since the light that led the holy elders with the gift of myrrh. But now the whole round table is dissolved, which was an image of the mighty world, and I, the last, go forth companionless, and the days darken round me, and the years among new men, strange faces, other minds, and slowly answered Arthur from the words The old order sensed ill placed to new, and good fulfills himself in many ways, lest one good custom should corrupt the world. Comfort thyself. What comfort is in me? I have lived my life and which I have done. May he within himself make pure. But though if thou shouldest never see my face again, pray for my soul. My thing are wrought by prayer. Then this world dream of. Wherefore let the wise rise like a fountain for me night and day. For what are men better than sleep or gods that nourish a blind life within the brain, if knowing God they lift not hands of prayer, both for themselves and those who call them friends. For so the whole round earth is every way bound by gold chains about the feet of God. But now farewell, I am going a long way with these those Sist, if indeed I go, for all my mind is clouded with a doubt, to the island valley of Avilion, where falls not hail or rain or any snow, nor ever wind blows loudly, but it lies deep meadowed, happy fair with orched lawns and bowery hollows crowned with summer sea, where I will heal me of my grievous wound. So said he, and the birds with oar and sail moved from the brink like some full breasted swan that fluting a wild carol ere her death ruffles her pure cold plum and takes the blood which swarthy waves long stood serpentine, revolving many memories till the whole looked one black dot against the verge of dawn, and on the mere the wailing died away. Thanks for watching video.